Imagine a woman, alone in the middle of a desolate desert, under the scorching, burning sun. She is risking her life, struggling to give birth to her baby, without a single human soul by her side. There is no midwife to comfort her, no sterile hospital walls, not even a bottle of clean water, or a single painkiller. There is only her, the silence of the desert, and an agony reaching the absolute highest peak of human endurance. Above her stands only a single withered, dry date palm. This is no time travel fiction or fabricated drama. This is an ancient fragment of history about Maryam, the mother of Prophet Jesus. A story immortalized with such exquisite detail in the Quran. In this highly critical condition, when her body's energy was completely drained to its lowest breaking point, a command arrived that, by ordinary logic, sounded profoundly unusual. When modern humans would think to seek medical help, prepare a proper bed, or find drinking water, the instruction that descended was instead a highly specific physical command. Shake the trunk of that date palm towards you and eat the dates that fall. Let us reflect for a moment. Why dates? Why not fresh water to quench her parched throat? Suffering from desert dehydration, why not wheat or bread to provide long-lasting fullness? For 14 centuries, billions of human beings read, memorized, and pondered this verse merely as a spiritual miracle, a divine intervention, where a dead, dry tree could suddenly drop ripe fruit simply by magic, period. It ended right there. But without us realizing it, there is a colossal biological secret, entirely escaped the attention of human civilization. To understand this miracle, we must leap across time, straight into the 21st century. In sterile laboratory rooms, behind the research desks of modern hospitals, from Jordan to Iran to Saudi Arabia, specialized obstetricians began to be unsettled by the exact same question. They no longer viewed the ancient text merely as religious dogma, but rather as a scientific hypothesis. They wondered, could this instruction, given to a woman in labor thousands of years ago, actually be a hidden medical prescription, deliberately left behind to be decoded by future science? To prove this, the researchers did not play around. They designed rigorous, scientifically scaled clinical trials. In one famous study published in international medical journals, doctors divided hundreds of pregnant women into two strictly monitored control groups. The first group was asked to routinely consume dates every single day during the final few weeks leading up to their estimated due date. Meanwhile, the second group went through their final stages of pregnancy normally, without structured date consumption. When the day of delivery arrived, and data from both groups were collected and analyzed, the medical teams and scientists were utterly stunned by the statistical figures appearing on their monitors. The women from the first group, who routinely consumed dates, displayed a vastly different labor trajectory. They experienced a much faster cervical dilation phase, with cervical tissues that were far more elastic and prepared. The time frame from initial dilation to full dilation was slashed significantly. Even more astonishing for the medical world, this date-consuming group required far fewer interventions of artificial contractile stimulants. The birthing process, usually marked by extreme exhaustion, anxiety, and physical trauma, transformed into a process that was far more efficient, calm, and with minimal complications. How is it possible that a simple fruit growing in barren soil can dictate and regulate the incredibly complex human reproductive system with such absolute precision? This is where modern science begins to lift its chemical veil. And the answer will leave anyone speechless. In the world of modern medicine, there is one hormone dubbed the hormone of life and the ultimate arbiter of death in the delivery room. That hormone is named oxytocin. The main duty of this hormone is incredibly crucial. It is what triggers the uterine muscles to execute strong, rhythmic contractions, squeezing the muscle tissues to push the baby out into the world. Without enough oxytocin, the uterus will simply go on strike. Labor will stall, and the lives of both mother and baby will be in grave danger. Not just during birth, but after the placenta is delivered, oxytocin once again plays a vital role. It must force the uterus to contract as hard as a rock, clamping down on thousands of blood vessels torn open by the placenta's detachment. If the uterus fails to harden, those blood vessels will endlessly pump out blood, triggering a lethal condition known as postpartum hemorrhage. In modern hospitals today, when a mother's body is exhausted and her natural oxytocin supply runs out, obstetricians will not wait long. They will immediately take emergency action by inserting a needle, injecting factory-made synthetic oxytocin directly into the patient's foreline. But let us draw a line back in time. Centuries before human civilization ever invented syringe technology, before the foredrip was created, and before the pharmaceutical industry could isolate chemical hormones in a lab, the date fruit actually carried this magical formula, entirely intact and completely natural. Biochemists discovered that dates are not just a sweet fruit. Inside its dense flesh lies a unique combination of oxytocin-like chemicals, tannins, serotonin, and high levels of calcium. When a mother consumes dates, natural sugars like glucose and fructose are instantly absorbed by the body in a matter of minutes, without needing to go through a long digestive process. This provides an instant explosion of energy straight into the uterine muscle cells that are exhausted after hours of struggling. At the exact same time, tannin compounds inside the date work to bind to receptors in the uterine muscles, stimulating gentle yet highly effective contractions, mimicking exactly how the oxytocin hormone operates inside the human body. This scientific surprise does not stop there. The most dangerous phase of childbirth is not when the baby comes out, but the minutes immediately after, where severe hemorrhage becomes the #1 killer of mothers worldwide. In a randomized clinical trial comparing the effectiveness of dates to standard hospital medication, an astonishing fact was once again uncovered. The group of mothers who merely ate 50 grams of fresh dates right after their placenta was delivered actually showed extraordinary results. Medical charts recorded that they experienced a significantly lower and far more controlled volume of bleeding, even when compared to the group of mothers receiving synthetic oxytocin injections from doctors. The natural compounds inside the date were proven capable of making the uterus harden rapidly on its own, shutting the floodgates of blood in a way that is far safer for the body, without the high blood pressure side effects often triggered by chemical drugs. Of course, we must remain grounded in the corridors of honest and objective science. The medical industry cannot yet claim dates as an absolute substitute for emergency drugs in the operating room, because many of these studies are still running on a medium scale and require much more massive validation. However, for scientists, the trajectory of the resulting data is undeniable. The consistency of research results from various interdisciplinary research teams across different parts of the world who do not know each other and hold no theological interests points to one undeniable truth: this is not a statistical coincidence. When we reread the story of Maryam under the date palm through the lens of modern science, our perspective is forced to shift. We no longer just see a woman crying in silent, surrendered solitude. We are witnessing a grand demonstration where a spiritual guide that seemed so simple, a command to shake a tree and eat its fruit, is actually an incredibly precise and flawless biological instruction. It was the most advanced medical prescription, deliberately handed down at the exact moment a human being was at her most fragile, most vulnerable, and closest to the gates of death. A supreme level of knowledge, intentionally placed there by the creator of the human body, left frozen for thousands of years, waiting until human intelligence and technology finally matured enough to understand and say, "It turns out, modern science today is only just catching up to what was written 14 centuries ago."